Hi everyone, thank you for watching the video in the zani4it.com channel again. Today I would like to share once again about the Registered Analytical Engine Manager or Reem. This topic has been regularly posted in my videos, in my previous videos, but I don't mind to share again in different way. Talk about the same thing, but somehow I still receive queries and especially for those who just became Reem. How to deliver the service, what to do, I think the charging part, you can refer to my previous video, how to charge everything. But I would like to share again about what to do once you become Reem, okay, and then what to do exactly, what's supposed to be delivered. Okay, don't mind to share. Today basically is Saturday, okay, no working day, but it's okay. This is the positive part of COVID-19 pandemic. Give us more time, at home because we can't really go out now. Okay, it costs about over 4,000 per day, the new cases, so we have to better to stay at home, and then we can share something. Okay, okay. Once you become Reem, the first rule is that if you want to deliver your service or if you want to perform your duties, perform your function and duties as the Reem, okay, that's the first thing you need to do. First, go back to the law or go back to the regulation. You have to go back to the Efficient Management of Electrical Energy Regulation 2008 or MA 2008. Because what I can see, honestly, okay, when I asked them directly during my training session, okay, after you became Reem, did you read the law again or not? Most of them answered, no, we did not. So I think it's not surprise if you are over time, you started to interpret, your function and duties accordingly. It's not wrong, but you must go back to the law. And then somehow, once you go back to the law, you refer to the basis of everything. It's easier for you to see how far you have made changes or how far you maybe have deviated from. Okay. Okay, so you don't have to read everything about the law. You don't have to memorize the law. What you need to do, you go back to MA 2008. I think I mentioned in the previous video. You have to look only at two key provisions. Okay, the first one is the Regulation 6 and then the second one, Regulation 16. And for my understanding, okay, this is my interpretation. I can be wrong. Okay, this is my interpretation. This is the way I look at it. I think by doing this, it has made it easier for me to understand my duties and then to explain to the installation owner, especially for those who are questioning why I can't just come over to the facility they appointed me just to help them to sign the form B every 6 months. Why I can't just do that? Because they thought that that's exactly what the law require me to do, the minimum requirement. Okay, it is not. That's why I always now, I think over years, since 2012, 2013, I also learn myself. I learn from my experience. I learn from my experience how I can explain, especially to the installation owner, to understand what exactly the role of the Reem. My conclusion is that you must look at the Regulation 6. You have to go back to Regulation 6. Otherwise, you won't understand what I'm talking about. Okay? If you have to go back to Regulation 6, at the same time, you must understand very well what is Regulation 16. Because if you go back to the Regulation 6, Regulation 6, somehow the key point in the Regulation 6 is that the moment the Energy Commission send the notice to you, to the installation owner, the moment the installation owner receive the notice, the first thing that what they need to do is to appoint or designate a registered ethical manager or a REM. That's the first thing. That's the first one. The second one, they have to notify Energy Commission about the appointment with all the details within 3 months of the date of the notice. That's it. That's the requirement. They must appoint the REM. And then you have to read the Regulation 6 carefully because under the Regulation 6, okay, if you go back to Regulation 6, you go back to Regulation 6, Regulation 6A, okay, you go to back Regulation 6A, okay, 6A mentioned that clearly, okay, Regulation 6A, it mentioned there that if you go back to Regulation 6A, it mentioned clearly you have to designate or appoint a REM, okay, to perform. This is often being overlooked. Again, I mentioned in the previous video, this is often being overlooked. To designate or appoint a REM to carry out function and duties under the Regulation 16. This is often be overlooked. So means that you appointed the Reem, you must appoint the Reem or design a Reem, either internally or third party, okay, to perform function and duties as stipulated in the Regulation 16. Therefore, okay, so I think it's not wrong for me to conclude that if you read Regulation 6, you must read together Regulation 16. What is Regulation 16? Okay, and the following requirement under Regulation 6, basically you must submit the report. Okay, you must send information on the policy objective, you know, and then ST has added in the submission of the report under Energy Management Information System or EMIS have added they must send the Energy Management Committee and all that and all the information. So this is basic. So it means that this Regulation 6 must be read together with Regulation 16. Because if you look at the what's the purpose of the regulation? The purpose of the regulation is for you to ensure that you will have the efficient management of your electrical energy. Okay, you must do it. You must make sure your electrical energy, or at least by the law, electrical energy being managed efficiently, and you must do that continuously, right? You cannot do it one off. That's why ST required to submit a report every 6 months. Continuous effort. So to do that, you must have a proper way of doing it. We must do it. You must manage your energy, okay, effectively, efficiently, as ongoing activities. And to be better, to do it better, you must do it in a systematic way. In other words, okay, you must have a proper system to manage your energy. That's my interpretation or my conclusion. Because it's something ongoing. If you just treat this, Regulation 6 as a requirement for you, only for every 6 months alone, the regulation, the EMA 2008, doesn't serve its purpose. Okay. And then because the other requirement under Regulation 6, basically more on the obligation of the installation owner. So you must appoint the Reem to carry out function and duties under Regulation 16. Okay, and then you have to submit the report, information, policy, objective, committee, and audit every 6 months. For you to get benefit, you must have proper system, so that when you have a system, you will be able to monitor your performance. You will know whether how much you have achieved and all that. Okay, therefore this one. So the first, once you go back to the law as a Reem, if you go back to the law, to the regulations, MA 2008, the first regulation you must understand very clearly is Regulation 6. Even though it's that one, the provision more on the obligation of the installation owner that affected by the MA 2008. But I think it's not wrong to say, okay, the Reem appointed, once you are appointed, you are the one supposed to interpret that correctly to the institution owner, so that they understand what the law is all about. Okay, that's my understanding. Okay, now let's look at because at the Regulation 6, you must appoint and design a Reem to perform function duties under Regulation 16. Okay, what's Regulation 16 then? If you are as a Reem, you cannot interpret Regulation 16 correctly, or at least in a proper way, you have trouble to understand your own role. Okay, I don't think you deserve to become the Reem anymore. If you ask me, in a hard way lah. Okay, in the so-called, little bit more so-called firm way, because that's your role. Because Regulation 16 is the function and duties of the electrical energy manager. Okay, Regulation 16. So if you can't even understand, or if you can't even remember that function and duties, Regulation 16, if you can remember Regulation 16, who are you? Because for other competency under ST, if you are the chargeman, if they are competent engineers, competent electrical engineers or electrical service engineer, if they are chargeman, they have to read the whole LST Regulation 94. They have to read the whole LST Regulation 94 and then have to take the exam and have to pass it. Whatever they do is based on that regulation. Similar to Reem. If a Reem forgot their regulations after they became the Reem, they'll be lost. Simple as that. Okay. Okay. So now what's Regulation 16? Okay, that's right. The first one, look at the Regulation 6. even though it's more on the obligation of the installation owner, but I think it is the obligation of the Reem to advise or interpret that correctly to the installation owner. Okay, so what regulation 16 then? So if you look at regulation 16, I repeat, I repeat, okay, there are 5 major provisions. So if you look at regulation 16A1, A1, A1 is what? Is audit to the Reem shall be responsible to audit and analyze total electrical energy consumption. Okay, total electrical energy consumption or total net generation for the public licensee, including the significant end of use of electrical energy. First one. So what does it mean? How to interpret that? What do you mean by analyze? What do you mean by audit? Again, what do you mean by audit? What is audit? They just mentioned there, audit and analyze total energy consumption. Okay. This total energy consumption, you can get it. You don't need to have measurement. You can look at the electricity bill, TND bill, or the SCSB bill, or any bill that from the supply authority. It doesn't need any measurement at all. You cannot say that this energy audit. No, this is not. I can tell you it's not. I'm quite sure that it's not. The word audit is there and analyze there. It's not energy audit because not such as the term of energy audit in the regulation itself. So what does it mean by that? So how to interpret that? Okay, the second one. Okay, he shall be responsible to what? To advise. Okay, the installation owner in developing and implementing measures to ensure efficient management of electrical energy. To ensure, first, the keywords there, advise. Advise means that advice telling what to do, basically. Okay, advise in developing and implementing measures. So the word measures very general. It doesn't mention that energy saving measures yet. Okay, and then to ensure, efficient management of electrical energy. To ensure efficient management of electrical energy. So ensure is something ongoing, right? Measures. So my interpretation is that advice, you have to be there to tell the right thing to do, and then in developing and implementing measures. So developing means that tell them what to do, how to do it. Okay, and then implementing, how to implement that. Advise the installation owner how to develop and how to implement measures. Open it to bigger perspective. The way I interpret it, measures not only energy saving measures. That measures refer something that will ensure you manage it. That ensure you manage your electrical energy, efficiently. Ensure. So must be something ongoing. So my interpretation of measures here is it refers to energy management system. That's my interpretation. Why energy management system? Because once you have a system, you have all the elements that can ensure whatever you do can be ongoing, can be continuous. For example, if you have energy management system, what do you have? You have the policy. The policy covers already under Regulation 6. Because the institution owner has to submit a policy to in the commission, right, in the reporting. So what do you mean by having policy? Policy means that you have a commitment to do something, indication of commitment. One, you have a system, first you have a policy. And then from the policy, I still require you to send the institution owner to send the energy management committee. Okay. So why need to have a committee? Because committee is the one that will ensure or will take the policy to translate into something that what to be achieved. To achieve the policy goals and target. Because under the Regulation 6 as well, you have to set information on objective, energy management objective, and policy and objective. So once you have an objective, intention, and you must have a target. You must have the value, how much you want to save, how much you want to improve. Right? Okay? So one who had a committee will ensure the policy will be translated into something that can be achieved. And then to do that, okay, when you have a system, you have to do the energy planning. Energy planning is the one. This is the time where you will analyze your consumption, you understand your consumption trend, you identify your significant end of use, similar to requirement under the Regulation 16A1. Okay, just now. So in that system, you understand your consumption trend from the total energy bill, energy consumption. You identify your significant energy use. Okay, and then you establish your energy performance indicator. Okay, in the system, in the planning, energy planning, energy performance indicator, and then after that you establish your energy baseline. What's the value of your reference point? Okay, why we need to have the indicator and the baseline? Because in the Regulation 16A, okay, A3, okay, A3, there is a requirement. Okay, he or she shall be responsible to monitor effectiveness of the implementation of measures. So just measures in refer to implement system, right? So in the Regulation 16A3, okay, A3 mentioned that monitor effectiveness. So for me, my understanding, you can only monitor effectiveness if you have something to refer. So this means you have to refer to the what indicator you have set to monitor to as your energy performance indicator, and then what are the baseline value that you can refer to monitor your performance, to monitor effectiveness. Okay, instead you set your indicator, you set your baseline value. So what's your target? In the policy target, you set target, okay, I want to achieve 5% reduction from the baseline value. So when you monitor effectiveness, you can compare that. That's the only way you can monitor effectiveness of your measures, right? Similarly, you have a technical projects. You have to put a meter, you have to take the baseline value. And then once you implemented the projects, and you can have to monitor how much this reduction compared to the baseline, similar. Okay, so that's it. So in system, you need to have the indicator and baseline because it will help you to perform the duty under Regulation 16A3. A3. Okay, and then you have the system. Okay, and in the system, in the energy planning, you have the indicator. Okay, and then after that, from there, what else? You need to prepare the action plan. Before that, action plan, before you come up with the action plan, after you set your indicator and you set your baseline, you must find a way how you can improve. This refers to energy saving measures. Okay. This refers to energy saving measures, the technical part of it. How much you can achieve. For example, this is where you start to look into the technical part. How much you want to reduce energy from your aircon system, for example. How much you want to save energy from your motor system, boiler system, okay, compressed air system, lighting system. Come with the value, quantify the value. Okay, from whatever, either low cost measure, high cost measure, practices and all that. You must come up with the quantity. This quantity, the value that you have identified to improve your energy performance or you reduce your energy cost will become the target value, your policy target values. Okay, policy target value. Okay, and then after that, okay, you come up with the action plan. Okay, once you come up with the action plan, you have to prepare how you want to collect data. What kind of data you want to collect to later to be used to in your to monitor your effectiveness of your measures. So by doing in the energy planning, okay, if you have a system, by understanding your consumption trend, by identifying your significant end of use of energy, by establishing your energy performance indicator, by establishing your energy baseline value, and then by identifying your measures, energy performance improvement measures, and then from there you set your policy target values, and then you have the action plan, and you have the data collection plan. Okay, means that you complete your planning part. That will help you. So that's why the way I look at it, that one is the requirement under Regulation 16. Is similar to requirement if you have a system in place, if you have an energy management system in place. Okay, and then next one, when you have completed in the system, completed the planning. Okay, what you need to do? You need to implement the system based on the action plan. Okay, you have to implement the system or operate the system. Okay, implement the system, and then to do that, you must have all the elements. Okay, you must have all the supports, resources, competency of your people. They must be trained properly. You must have a proper communication programs, awareness programs so that people are aware about the organization is moving towards an implementing energy management system, because energy management, it cannot be done alone by the Reem and themselves. It's a responsibility of all, but they play different role, but they must be made known about what their role to play. So they must have proper supports in terms of communication, awareness, training, and all that. As a part of the initiative for the implementation of the system. So when you implement the system, it's ongoing. Implement the system based on your targets. Okay, and then from there, throughout the implementation, what you need to do, you have to control your operations. You control your key equipment. You control the equipment that use most energy at the significant end of use energy. You have to control how you can control your aircon, for example. What kind of temperature you want to set? What kind of flow rate you want to monitor? Okay, for example, your chiller. What kind of how you can maintain control the chiller operations? Compressed air. What kind of pressure you want to set? What kind of pressure drop you want to maintain to make sure the efficiency of the whole system? Motors, what kind of motor you want to use. You must control all that. In terms of operations, in terms of the key operating parameter of each equipment, you must control that. And then when you do some kind of projects, if you do some kind of changes, retrofitting project, changing new motor, changing new system, in that so-called technical feasibility or technical design, you must consider the energy efficiency element in that. You just can compare, look at the cheapest price. Next, once you have consider all the element in the energy efficiency element in your projects or design, okay, you must, when you purchase, you must consider the energy efficiency, not just the best price or cheapest price. That in the implementation, 3 elements: control the operations, and then when you design, consider energy efficiency. When you do the procurement or purchasing, you must consider energy efficiency as a part of the evaluation criteria as well. Okay, and then after that, what next? In your system, after that, you have to perform you have to check how much it achieved. So they call it performance evaluation. You must conduct the performance evaluation. Okay, so this is where, okay, the regulation 16B coming. You see why how you can relate this one into the regulation 16B. Because regulation 16B require you to supervise, okay, record keeping, okay, okay, and basically you have to supervise record keeping on the efficient management of electrical energy, and also verify its accuracy. Right, its accuracy. So what if you don't have a system, okay? If you have a system, you have a proper documentation, right? If you have a proper system, you have the proper documentation. You have all the manuals, SOP. You have the forms, what kind of data you collect accordingly to meet your control operations to make sure it's energy efficient, all that, and then you can verify. So without a system, how can you verify? How can you supervise the record keeping? So by not having a system, how can you perform your duty based on the regulation 16B? You can't, because regulation 16B is not just about looking at the data in EMIS. Okay, not just that. Data in EMIS is the final data that the installation owner will fill up. But you must be able to verify the data. Okay, and information that entered in the system, EMIS. Therefore, you need to have a very proper trail of documents. Trail of document where you can look into the data, where does it coming from. For example, if in the EMIS report, the installation owner put in the report, they have saved this much from this energy saving measures. So it's a job of the Reem, okay, to verify that. That's why in regulation 16B, verify its accuracy. You must verify how the saving was calculated. Because they have to report to ST, right, Energy Commission, right? So you must make sure it's true, because in the form B, form B of the submission of the report, you must declare everything is being checked and declare all is true, accurate. Okay, so this is so you have to without proper documentation system or record keeping, without a system you can't have a proper record keeping. Simple as that. Everyone will keep the data accordingly, all independent. It's not connected. This file, and this laptop, this computer, and all are scattered everywhere. I've seen it many places. So by having a system, you have the proper documentation of all your data information. That help you to meet the regulation 16B. Okay, B. Okay. So because you know why? Because under Regulation 16C, C basically, you have to ensure ensure the installation and submitting the reports. Okay, every 6 months. Every 6 months, they have to submit the report. Every 6 months, after that, they got 30 days to submit the report in the EMIS. Okay, without proper documentation system, okay, how you can what you want to supervise, what record you want to supervise, and how can you verify. So even though you can ensure them submit the instruction owner will submit the report, but how can ensure the report all being verified in terms of data and information? Okay, so I think that's all about Regulation 16. So means that Regulation 16 is together with Regulation 6 is together with Regulation 16. So as the Reem, okay, as the Reem, you like it or not, you must be well versed. Okay, you may ask me where to refer, how to interpret all that, how can you ensure that you interpret your task, your function notice and Regulation 16 somehow correctly. Okay, it's not. I personally I did not interpret that just based on my own interpretation directly. No, it's not. It's not raw from me. This is where I refer to standards. Okay, this is where I refer to standards to help me to interpret that. Because the first one just now, I interpreted the requirement of that Regulation 16, especially in the Regulation 16A2, is advice in developing and implementing measures. So I interpret that measures referring to energy management system. So I look at the standard that regarding to energy management system. So far, I can only find two. The main one we can refer, which I don't think we can be wrong. The first one is the IMAS. ASEAN Energy Management Scheme, they have the so-called certification under the Energy Management Gold Standard. And the second one I refer to ISO 50001, ISO 50001, 50001. Okay, the standard for energy management system. It was published in 2011 and they are reviewed in, now the version is 2018. Okay, from my knowledge, I know, okay, this is become a little bit personal to me because I got the personal knowledge because I know that EMAS, okay, EMGS, Energy Management Gold Standard under EMAS, okay, have direct connection with ISO 2001 because I know the basic requirement of EMAS is based on the ISO 2001 because personally I was involved in that ASEAN committee last time when I was in the government. I was involved when the committee in ASEAN, okay, discussed about the somehow integrating the requirement because that time the EMAS basically was developed earlier than ISO 2001. ISO 2001 published 2011. Okay, IMAS, developed before that. So instead of, I remember I was in a discussion. Okay, instead of fighting with each other, two totally different standards. The idea is that last time, that was my understanding. Okay, even though I did not finish, I did not stay until the end of the discussion. But when I look at the final output, it's true. If you look at requirement of IMAS or EMGS, you look at the ISO requirement, the requirement is still the same. So what's the difference? IMAS has rating, that's it. IMAS got rating, silver, gold, and all that. Okay? ISO no rating, it's all voluntary. Okay, IMAS they got certain requirement. For example, they must have the so-called IMAS trained certified energy managers, CEM. ISO doesn't have that. ISO 2001 doesn't have that. That's all difference. But the fundamental or the framework of that system, either under EMGS, IMAS, or ISO 2001, I can say is the same. Okay. Therefore, when I interpret the regulations, because my understanding always about something ongoing. Energy management, efficient management of electrical energy is something ongoing. So when it is ongoing, it must be in a systematic way. It must be a proper system. And for the system purpose, I must refer to some standards. So therefore, I decided to refer to mainly ISO because if I refer to ISO 2001, I meet all the basic requirement of IMAS or EMGS. So I cannot be wrong. I don't think I can be wrong. Okay. Therefore, to help me to interpret, okay, I can tell you, this is my interpretation. The requirement under Regulation 6, the policy objective and documentation requirement. Okay, and then you go to you go to Regulation 16, all the five major provisions, from 16A1 to 3 and B and C. Okay, all that all that requirement covered under requirement under ISO 50001. Straight, very, very direct. Okay, for me, if I want to interpret, let's say, Regulation 16A1, I will refer to in the ISO 2001, okay, I refer to the ISO 2001 under clause 6. Clause 6. Okay, clause 6. Under clause 6, it mentioned about the energy review. Okay, energy review. Because energy review, energy review, basically, what you need to do in energy review, you must understand your past and present consumption. You must analyze, okay, and past and present your total your energy consumption. Okay, and then from there, after that, you have to identify your significant energy use or SEU. In the Regulation 16A1 is the significant end use of energy. So, and ISO 1 is significant energy use or SEU. For me, it's the same, because the purpose of that, the purpose of SEU is to know where energy being used, which one the largest user, which one second and third, and so forth. So if you refer to ISO 1, the clause 6, okay, in particular clause 6, okay, you have done that, okay, you already met the requirement of the Regulation 16A1. Simple as that. Okay, you can check ISO 1 clause 6.3, okay, about energy review. It's a part of the clause 6 under the energy planning, under the planning. Okay, so that's settled. That's why so I don't think I can be wrong, because I refer to something, because the law doesn't prescribe that. So I don't interpret that myself. So I look at the best. I think that's the closest I can find. And then secondly, you look at Regulation 16, A2. Okay, A2 is the advice in developing implementing measures, okay, to ensure efficient management of electrical energy at the installation. Developing, implementing measures. So I mentioned earlier, right? That measure I refer to energy management system. So means that, okay, if you look that, okay, so if I refer to the whole ISO 2001, that's all about it, except you just minus the clause 9 and 10. Sorry, clause 9 and 10. Clause 9 about the one that cover, I think not all, part of the clause 9 on the ISO 2001, okay, 2001 version, you can minus the clause 9, okay, 9 that require the conduct internal audit. Okay, internal audit, basically you have to look at the clause 9.2, clause 9.2, and also you can put aside, the all that clause 9.2, because that one require you to conduct internal audit. So the Regulation 16A2, okay, actually is about developing and implementing management system. So if I develop, that's why whenever I go to my clients or my prospect, whenever I explain even to my prospect, not even my client, okay, my prospect, I told them, I will help you to develop and implement, okay, energy management system at your facility. And I show to them the regulations. Most so far, they never considered. They can see the relationship. I think I explained to them, if I do that, okay, I can do all the following provision. I can do the Regulation 16A3, B, and C. Simple like that. When I have a system, I can monitor the effectiveness, because I have set the baseline indicator as I explained to you earlier. And then also at the same time, I also can supervise all the records, because the system have the proper documentation. I can verify all the accuracy of the data, because I got all the data accordingly based on the all the forms data being collected and so on. Okay, so there's only two provisions. So what would be the conclusion from this? Okay. So I think as a Reem, I think it's fair to say that again. So we have to give the so-called proper interpretation of the law. Otherwise, if the installation owner doesn't understand, and Reem doesn't understand, Okay, and then there always a huge gap there. The result of that, whatever being done is finally Reem will be seen as losing his purpose. And then some institution owner may see the regulation just another burden to them. Therefore, they just continue to do just. That's why now, okay, some of the Reem just come and visit the facility every 6 months. They have to sign Form B alone. I cannot blame the institution owner because they may not be explained properly. No one has explained to them properly about the requirement of the regulations. No one has explained to them. So they thought, okay, I engage the Reem. Okay, I submit report every 6 months. That's it. That's all. That's all what the law required. That's it. That's it. So you cannot blame them unless they're being informed, they're aware, and then they still go ahead with that. So that's when they find different. We look. That's why we look at it separately. Okay, unless they know that, but they still want to. I just want to comply. That's a different. They want different case. So put that aside. At least they are making decision based on informed. They are making informed decisions. They're being explained. Somebody has explained to them, and then they still go for the minimum requirement, which is the 6 month reporting alone. Fair enough. Fair enough. That one, nothing much the Reem can do. I think I came across got numbers of many prospects, even to look into that because, but at least with me, okay, at least normally I insisted to explain to them. Even though sometimes, I was called for a tender or submit a quotation, I don't mind to spend. I did meet them, and then explain to them. And after that, I leave it to them. Because sometimes I wanted to get the cheapest price. Fair enough. Okay. So simple. So I hope this video again, okay, as enlightened, okay, all of us. Okay, this is just a sharing. I think not a secret. Okay, you can buy the standard ISO 1. Okay, because if you have the similar, I think if many more Reams have similar understanding, it's easier for everyone to understand what's our role. Okay, but again, go back to the law, go back to the MA 2008. So what's the conclusion of this? Okay. So my point here, so our job is as the energy manager, look at our role beyond just the complying to the law. Look at ourselves as energy manager. Somebody will manage the energy resource. Somebody will ensure that something will happen ongoing continuously. So the fundamental is that refer to the law, interpret that, accordingly, refer to standard. So I refer to ISO 1. So my point here, you must understand what is energy management system all about, strongly. You must understand the concept, how to develop, what are all the elements inside the system. And then I think we have a better, somehow better feeling in terms of confidence in terms of what to do. I think once we know what to do, it's easier for you to tell the people, to tell especially the installation owner, even you are an internal Reem, even you are appointed by your manager, your own management in your company as an internal Reem. Okay, you must explain to the institution owner, you must explain to the management what exactly this law all about, what is this emir all about. Otherwise, they may have the same understanding. Therefore, okay, just appoint you to this, sign every 6 months, no report, no problem with the authority. You won't get the best out of this. Normally, they won't get the best out of these regulations. Okay. Another one, if as a Reem, you cannot really explain, you can't really describe your task. Okay, you can't really explain what exactly you want to do. No one will recognize your role. No one will recognize your roles. Okay, no one will recognize our roles. No one will recognize, energy manager, a Reem, just like any other competency, like even chargeman. Because chargeman, their function and duties specified clearly. Unfortunately, as a Reem, our function and duties not being specified very so-called prescriptively in the regulation, very brief. Just not even one page. I would say one page for both. Okay, if you're talking about safety, okay, they got a page for the installation, page another one, a few more pages on the maintenance, even a lot of very details. We haven't got that yet. Unfortunately, but it shouldn't stop us. It shouldn't stop us from doing the right things. Right things. So my sharing here, my advice or what I hope, we have to refer something so at least people won't dispute us. For me, if I'm wrong, so I can take this. What I can do? Okay, what I can do? I can bring this. Okay, I can bring this. If you look here, okay, I can bring this. Okay, means that if I'm wrong, this one is wrong. Okay, my reference is here. This is my reference. I chosen one. Okay, so I cannot be wrong. I believe I cannot be wrong lah, unless this one is wrong. Okay, so this all the sharing sharing today. Okay, so again, the conclusion, the key provision you have to look at is the Reem, in the MA 2008 is you must understand Regulation 6, and you must be able to explain to the insurance owner about Regulation 6. And then you must understand very deeply, very detailed on the Regulation 16, our own role as a Reem. Okay, as well. And then you must read that together. These two Regulations 6 and 16, you must be read together. And then to interpret this one, these two, you refer to the standard. Okay, you can refer to IMAS EMGS, or you can refer to ISO 5001, or you can check any other. I can guarantee you, I've done that. I've surveyed all that. You can refer to any guidelines, standards, protocol on energy management system. You can find all about the same component or element, just like what I explained just now. You cannot be wrong. Okay, in the system, you got the commitment from the top management, policy, energy planning, implementation of the system, and then performance evaluations. Okay, and then for the next one, you can do the management review. All that you must bring to the top management as a part of the management review for continuous improvement. That's required under the ISO 2001. 6 element. Okay, management commitment, policy, energy planning, system operations. Okay, implementing the system, and then performance evaluation, and finally management review for continuous improvement. That's all. I think you cannot be wrong. So I hope this sharing enlighten you further. Okay, I don't mind to share because I hope Reams can be recognized. The only setback for us is because our function in duties is not clearly defined. Okay, are not clearly defined in the regulation itself. Therefore, the onus on us now. It's up to us now how we can, it's not for to complain, but find a way how to interpret correctly. All right. Okay. With that, I hope the sharing is enlighten you further, especially for new rims. Okay, this is what I think. We can always share the opinion. We can always share our experience. Okay, therefore, my experience, so far I have been appointed for so far over 30 installation. Now I'm registered under over 30 installation. It wasn't easy. Okay, but it started, and it's not. I did not do it alone. Okay, I'm not doing it alone. I cannot do that alone. So I got a team last time. Now I manage it on myself because there's a process of that. Okay, for example, talking about how I deliver my Reem service, basically, my contract normally 1 year, 1 or 2 years at least to start with. Okay, what I will do? Simple. What I will do basically, in the first 1 or 2 years, my contract, all right, I help them to do exactly what I explained to you just now. I help them to, to fulfill I perform my duty based on the requirement on the Regulation 16. Okay, basically developing energy management system for them. That normally take between 1 or 2 years. After that, I have less role to play. That's why my fee normally higher in the first 1 year, lesser in the second year. And then after that, and that's why after the third year, when it comes to the third year normally I leave it to my clients, whether they want to extend my contract or not. Because what happened in between, even most cases, in that 2 years, I managed to coach their in-house personnel, okay, to become Reem themselves. There are many of them become Reems. And then after that, after 2 years, I have little role to play, and then they can appoint their internal Reem, their own personnel as their own Reem. I'm okay with that. Okay, because I never design my contract in such a way that I want to stay there forever. However, there are some of my clients, after 2 years, they feel comfortable. But I explain to them, I have little role to play. That's why I still got, after 3 years. After 3 years, basically, I play little role. Because the first 2 years, to develop the system, I have to visit them every month. I got a scheduled monthly visit. Okay, we got a work plan. Okay, we got a plan. So every month we have a visit, help them to develop the system. And that's, they got a lot. There'll be a training session, facilitation, awareness program, and all that. Okay, all that. So after 2 years, they have their own Reem. Even they have their own Reem. Okay, my job will be little because they got system in place. So they just want me to stay to just for their advisor. So they pay me much lesser fee, just like a retainer fee, very minimal as well. So I'm happy to continue, but I won't do the as much work compared to the first 2 years because internally they got their own personnel, well trained, and also can do everything. And I help them to give the advice to keep them on track. And to, of course, every 6 months I have to verify the reports, based on the system that we had developed together during the 2 years. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so for those who are Reem, that's my sharing this time. Again, I talk about this again. Okay, fair enough. Okay, maybe different way. I hope enlighten you further. For those who want to become Reem, apply. Okay, you can check my video as well. I got one video explaining to you step by step. Okay, on how to prepare yourself to prepare for the application and how to prepare for interview. If you need more assistance, or you can always contact me or you can email to me. Okay, you can comment here. You can email to the email that I put at the bottom of the screen. Okay. So with that, thank you very much. Okay, so I hope I can see you the next video. We're still under the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, today is basically, today is now is 8th of May. Okay, 8th of May is the second day of MCO 3.0. Okay, some states, now under MCO, Selangor, KL, and Johor and Penang, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so stay at home. Okay, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. Okay, stay energy efficient. Okay, stay energy efficient as well. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera.